Assalamu alaikum dear students. So in today's lecture we will try to implement the method of characteristics which we had studied for non-linear first order partial differential equations in the previous lecture. We will try to implement that methodology to some examples and to some problems, and also in today's lecture we will try to study the method of characteristics for non-linear partial differential equations having initial value problems. So but before that, let's try to solve one example or two examples to find out the solution for any non-linear first order partial differential equation and solved by method of characteristics. So for that, let's just focus on the question. So this part was completed and we had derived 5 first order ordinary differential equations in equation 10, and we had said that this system constitute the characteristic system of partial differential equation 1, and this is in parametric form the final solution. So we will implement that methodology to some examples. So I am trying to explain you the method of characteristics for any initial value problem with some example. So what I am going now, instead of solving separately, I will solve a question with initial value problem or Cauchy problem for non-linear partial differential equation, and with the example we will study how we implement method of characteristics on initial value problem. In this methodology, if you focus on the question, so if you look back at the question, we are given the partial differential equation. So in each question we will be given a partial differential equation subjected to the conditions which are given as this. So let's just write that question: zx. Okay, so we have zx, zy minus z equal to 0. So this is our question, and subjected to the condition z of s comma minus s, z of s comma minus s equal to 1. Okay, equal to 1. So this is our question. The problem is that from this question there will be 5 simultaneous ordinary differential equations and you need to solve them, but there will be only 3 conditions with which you can solve the particular solution or initial value problem. What are these 3 conditions? If you remember, we were required to find x of st. Look back at the, because I'm not going to explain the method of characteristics for initial value problem, instead I am implementing. So in equation 13 we are having the system, and here we have x of st, y of st, z of st, p of st and q of st and their ordinary differential equation. So in that system you must know what are the particular conditions as well. So in the given question, what are the particular conditions? So I am writing just for you the given required material. So x of st, y of st, z of st, p of st and q of st is our requirement. We will find, so I can write we will find the solution, okay, with the help of equation 5. So equation 5 will give us the required solution of 5 ordinary differential equation. But the problem is that I am explaining that we are having only 3 conditions. So what are the conditions? This is particular curve. From that curve we can easily write that this solution, in that solution for t equal to 0, so for t equal to 0 the initial conditions are, so for given particular curve or characteristic curve, we will try to find the initial conditions from the initial curve. So what is x of s comma 0? This will be some function. What is the function? The variable which is placed on x component, because your solution is z of okay, your solution is z of x comma y. So the thing which is placed on x side will be termed as x of x comma 0, and the variables or the term which is placed on y component side will be termed as y of s comma 0. So therefore x of s comma 0 will be what? In our case it is s, and y of s comma 0 will be what? In our case this is minus s, and z of s comma 0 will be 1, because z is the right hand side, so z will be taken care by the right hand side. Z of s comma 0 will be taken care by the right hand side. But problem is that you are having 5 ordinary differential equations for any initial value problem. Look, you have in the system 5 ordinary differential equation, first order. For x, y and z ordinary differential equations, there are 3 conditions, and these, by the existence and uniqueness theorem, these ordinary differential equations can be solved easily with the given 3 conditions. But what are the conditions of P and Q? These conditions we have to found by algebraically or analytically by the given partial differential equation. So this I will try to explain you, and I hope you will understand that how can we derive or deduct the conditions for P and Q. That is why for that, just for simplicity, generally please try to name the conditions. So I am now doing a part where I will calculate the conditions for P of s comma 0 and Q of s comma 0. For that, just try to name x of s comma 0 generally as f of s, y of s comma 0 generally as g of s, z of s comma 0, please name that generally capital G of s, p of s comma 0 you can name generally as h of s comma s, h of s, and q of s comma 0 please name that as k of s. So these are the 5 conditions generally. Upon these 5 you are given 3 conditions. Which are the conditions? X of s comma 0 is given, y of s comma 0 is given, and z of s comma 0 is given. It means in other words, capital G is given, small g is given, and small f of s is also given in your question. So this is your question. So in that question you are given some material. Okay, and now you will implement some idea so that you can understand how you can find the conditions for P and Q. Okay, so what is that trick? This is not a trick actually, these are the basic knowledge of nonlinear partial differential equations. So in general, what you have? In general, you have f as a function, which is your required solution in general, and you have x comma y comma z comma p and comma q equal to 0. So this is generally any for any partial differential equation of first order. You have seen my previous lectures that capital F is in implicit form your required solution. Analogously, what you can write, analogously, if capital F is 0, so capital F of conditions will also be 0. So there I am writing a sentence or a word, capital F okay, with conditions, will also be 0. Okay, will also be 0, because capital F is general, and if you put the conditions, this will also satisfy. So what I am saying, capital F of x of s comma 0, x of s comma 0, y of s comma 0, z of s comma 0, p of s comma 0, and 0 and q of s comma 0 will also give you the answer 0. But you have to be very precise. You can if and only if you can write the same thing like that, capital F of s, g of s, okay, f of s, g of s, g of s, capital G of s, h of s, and k of s will also be 0. So you can write this thing there also. Okay, so what I was saying, that capital F of conditions will also be 0. So in general you can write this equation as well. So this was I was explaining, if capital F with the variables is 0, so capital F with the conditions will also be equal to 0. So this is the first equation. You can say that condition 1. So this is the first condition which will be used, C1, which will be used to calculate the conditions for P and Q, number 1. Number 2 is that what more you can do, you are given, so if you want to find on the slides, you can also see one thing, that capital F is 0 is there. So I have explained you how this is 0. So basically you want to derive P and Q conditions, which are HS and K of S. So wherever H of S and K of S is existing, we will try to capture these equations. So one of the equation is capital F, which we have already written there. Look, we have written there C1 condition. Second thing where P and Q are existing is capital G, because G depends upon XY. And what is the OD for G? Look back, the OD for G, ordinary differential equation for G, is there. Okay, so I mean to say ordinary differential equation for Z. So what is ordinary differential equation for Z? In some sense this is P FP plus Q FQ. Okay, so I am writing for you. So condition d over dt, or you can write dz by dt equal PFP, okay, plus QFQ. So what will be this whole equation in terms of, so if and only how you can write this whole equation in terms of the conditions. So this equation, okay, this equation in terms of initial conditions, you can say initial conditions. Okay, okay. So what will be the answer for that similar equation with the initial conditions? What is the condition for Z? The condition for Z has name capital G. You have to write analogously. Just look at the equation and write down with the condition. So what is the condition for Z? It has name capital G. We have named already. On the left hand side we have derivatives, so just you have to put G prime. Okay, on the right hand side you have small p. So what do you mean by small p? Small p is used as small p was capital partial Z by partial X. Okay, partial Z by partial X. So what is the condition? So what is okay, what is the condition for P? Actually you have to write that. So P has condition, because we are writing this whole thing in terms of conditions. You look, we have written down the description, that this equation in terms of initial conditions. So what is the condition of Z is G, but we are taking the derivative, so this will be G prime. What is the name of the condition P? This name has H of S and fp. What is fp? If you remember, please be very focused. If you remember, what was initially fp? Fp was x dash. Okay, fp was, on the other hand, on the similar, if you want to see there, you can see also fp was x dash. Okay, so what is the name of condition for x? The name of condition for x is, we have named that as f of s. So what will be on that place? Not f of s, it will be f prime of s, because look, fp is not equal to f of s, instead it is equal to derivative of s. So initially, in the terms of conditions, what will be fp? Fp will be derivative of condition of x. So what is the condition of x is f, and the derivative will become f prime. Plus similarly, you can write q, instead of q can write k of s in terms of condition, and fq, if you see, fq is equal to derivative of y. But in conditions, what will be that? That will becomes derivative of condition of y. So what is the condition of y? It has name g, and in terms of conditions, that will become g prime. This is the idea, and it has already mentioned there. If you go back, you can see that. So this, you can name it as condition 2. So this is condition 2. You have to use these. This is condition 1 and this is condition 2. These two conditions will be used in order to determine the conditions for p and q, which are having the particular names h of s and k of s. Okay, very nice. What is the third condition? Third condition, remember, is very important. Third condition says that this must not be equal to 0. What is that? This is actually the Jacobian. Because look, on the other hand, if you remember about the transformation, on the transformation side, you had one thing which was initially given, that the Jacobian of the transformation must not be equal to 0. So I think I had told you about the Jacobian there. Yes. Okay. No, not there. I think it was before the start of method of characteristics. No, not there. I'm sorry. I think this is p dash. Okay, x dash, y dash, z dash, p dash and q dash. Okay, and now Jacobian of the transformation is, okay, if not written, we can summarize very easily. What is the Jacobian? Okay, I will try for you to explain Jacobian. Jacobian is equal to determinant of, if you remember, x of, so what was the transformation? Be very, remember that transformation was x of s comma t, and y was y of s comma t. Okay, very good. So what can be the Jacobian? By definition, Jacobian is partial x over partial s. So there will be what? Partial, okay, partial x over partial s, Jacobian of the transformation, and there you can write partial x over partial s. Okay, and there you will write similar things, but partial not x, it will be partial y over partial t, and there will be partial y over partial s. Okay, this is the definition of Jacobian. Jacobian is determinant of this matrix. So what will be the answer? If you multiply both sides, you will get partial x over partial t multiplied by partial y over partial s. So actually what is written there in that form, in the Jacobian, this is fpg bar. I will explain for you what do you mean by this. Partial x over partial t. So first of all, write down the determinant. This multiply by this and minus this okay, multiply by this. Okay, very good. So now what will be the answer? What is partial x over partial t? Because Jacobian, what you are trying to find out, Jacobian at any point must not be equal to 0. But look, conditions are taken for t equal to 0. Okay, so for t equal to 0, you are trying to focus on the conditions. So what will be the Jacobian? What is I mean to say here fp. Okay, so fp is, if you remember with the equations, fp was dx by dt. Okay, so fp can be taken care by in conditions. Be very careful in conditions. So this is equal to fp, okay, g dash. So what will be fp? G is stand for condition with of y. Okay, so condition of y is there. Okay, you can take this equation if you are having any problem. So in terms of conditions, you have this partial x over partial t is condition for x, and condition for x is f. So this will be f dash of s. And what is partial y over partial s? This is fq. Look, this is fq. Partial y over partial s is fq. Okay, so there is partial x over partial t, which is fp. Okay, I write for you partial f over partial x over partial t, which is fp of conditions. Okay, be very careful, fp of conditions, which means fp of not x, y, z, p, q, fp of f of s, g of s, capital G of s, h of s, and k of s. And on the right hand side, you have partial y over partial s. Y has condition small g, so it will be g prime. Similarly, minus partial y over partial t is fq, so you will write whole thing with fq. Okay, fq. And for partial x over partial s, x has condition f, and the derivative will become f dash. This has been done for t equal to 0, and this is the Jacobian in terms of condition. Be very precise, this is Jacobian in terms of condition. Okay, so this must never be equal to 0, and this is written there for the third condition, and this is our third condition. This was very important, and this is third condition. So indeed, for the third condition, this must never be equal to 0. So we have already decided now that how you will calculate p and q conditions. So there are two unknowns and there are three equations. You will be surprised to see that since we need only two variables and we have three equations, c1, c2, and also c3. So it is a possibility you will have not more unique solution, you can have more than one solution, but be very careful that which points you will choose from the solution. I mean to say, which h of s and k of s you will select from conditions 1, 2, and 3. You will select those h of s and k of s for which this determinant is non-zero. I mean to say, for which this Jacobian is non-zero. So these h of s and k of s will be our required solution. It is a possibility that maybe one or two pairs of h of s and k of s will satisfy this condition, that Jacobian is non-zero. So both will be your solution. So your solution will be two. One for h of s and k of s for the condition 3 satisfies, and other one also for which condition 3 is satisfied. I will solve before you one example as well. So this is the example which we were going to solve, and very importantly, just try first step, try to solve the characteristic equation. So what are the characteristic equations? This is written, the characteristic system 13 takes the form dx by dt is fp. Okay, this is the formula you can see in 13. Okay, dx by dt or dx of st by dt is fp. So I am writing for you for only once, dx of st by dt is equal to fp. Okay, fp. So fp is not of conditions now. Fp is generally any function of x, y, z, p, q. Okay, so I can write this in general, fp, okay, of x. X is function of st, you can write generally. Y is function of st. This is importantly you have to mention st, for p also st, and for q also st. Remember that what we have done previously, we have tried to analyze which are the conditions which will be used in that part, which will be used to solve or to find the conditions for p and q. So what we are trying to do from this part, okay, from there we have found the formula or the conditions which will be used to find the conditions for what, p of s comma 0 and q of s comma 0. So this we have derived the conditions which will help us to find the conditions for p and q. Okay, till that part, till condition 3, and original solution is there. So this is the solution of question, solution of question is starting from there. Okay, question. Okay, now what we are doing, the characteristic equation is fp. What is fp? What is f actually? F is your all left hand side, f of x, y, z, p, q. What is this? This is all left hand side of question. What is left hand side of the question? So I repeat for you the question. Okay, I repeat for you the question. This is the question. Okay, and I am writing there. Okay, so what is f, capital F? This is all left hand side. Okay, so this is that, and this is equal to 0, you know that. Okay, don't have to write, but to be very precise. And now what is the second step? What is fp? Fp is partial, you have to name or write this equation in terms of p and q. What is p and q? You please remember, p was, if you know that, p was partial z by partial x. Okay, partial z by partial x, or you can say zx. Both are same names, different names of the same thing. And q was partial z by partial y, or you can write zy. Okay, this is partial z by partial y, or you can also write zy. Okay, so this can be transformed into some new form, p q minus z. This is now the general form which is used in method of characteristics. So what is now fp? Fp is very easy, just take the partial derivative of f with respect to p. What will be the answer? Q, because p, q, x, y, z are now behaving as an independent variables, and you don't have to mix them. Okay, so fp will be only q. Similarly, what will be, I'm not going to write again and again. Okay, so just because this is first example, I write down what is dy over dt. You look back at the formula, dy by dt was fq in the equation 3rd. This is similar equations which were derived in the previous lecture of nonlinear partial differential equation, and this is fq. Okay, so what will be the answer of fq? Just take the derivative of f with respect to q, the answer will be p. Okay, so at that moment just stop and think, can you solve equation, this equation? This is okay, this is what is that equation? Okay, this is 1, okay, of the solution, this is 2. So in any equation you have to, at each step you have to think for all 5 equations. There are 5 equations, so at each step you have to think by yourself which equation is easy to solve. Can you solve dx by dt is q, or can you solve dy by dt is p? The answer is no, because you don't know up till now what is the value of p and what is the value of q. Because what I am writing wrong, you don't have to write that, I am just explaining to you. So this is wrong, okay, I am writing there, this is wrong. This is a mistake. You can make mistakes. What you can make mistakes, you always say that dx, okay, dx over q is equal to dt, and integrating, sorry, dx is equal to, not like that, dx is equal to q dt, and integrating both sides. So you say that the integral is equal to, and so this, what you make mistake, so you say that x is equal to q t plus some constant. This is wrong, because q is in general, look, q is in general function of t. You cannot take q outside the integral. So this is actually wrong attempt, okay, you don't have to make that. So what is correct way? Correct way is that you have to solve 1 2 simultaneously. Not only 1 2 simultaneously, you have to solve 1 2 3 4 5 simultaneously. There are 5 ordinary differential equations. Maybe possibility that you can calculate q from its OD and put the value, or you can calculate p from its OD and put the value. So now just write the ordinary differential equation for z as well, dz by dt. What will be the answer? So dz of st, what is the formula? Just go back. Formula is, this is pfp plus qfq. So you can write, sorry, you can write here pfp, p of st, fp, this is fp, okay, plus qfq, qfq, okay, this is your OD for dz. So put the values. How can you put the value? Just replace the reference side as it is, and now what is p? P you don't know, so just name it as it is, p fp. What is fp? You know the answer of fp. Fp has value q, okay, you already have calculated from equation 1. And q, what is fq? Fq is partial derivative of f with respect to q. If you take partial derivative of f with respect to q, the answer will be again p. So pq plus qp, the answer is 2pq. Again, just think by yourself. Can you solve the equation 3 easily? No, because you don't know p and you don't know q. You have to calculate, I'm stressing again and again, you have to solve simultaneously all 5 equations. It is a possibility you can solve one of them easily, or you cannot solve neither of them easily. And sometimes you have to make adjustment or algebra so that you can solve easily any 2 equations collectively, or 3, or what can be the form of the equation. So now up till now you cannot solve easily. Just now write the equation for p. So what is dp by dq? So dp by dt, okay, p is again function of t, is equal to dp by dt has the form, you remember, this is minus times fx plus pfz, okay, this is, so this is minus times fx, okay, plus pfz. Okay, very easy. Just write the answer. What was capital F? Please don't forget, capital F was this, pq minus z. So try to calculate the derivative with respect to x. there is no x involved in the capital F. Look, in capital F expression there is no x, there is p, there is q, there is z, but no x. And what will be the answer? Fx will be 0. So the answer is minus, okay, fz is 0 plus p fz. What is the value of fz? Fz is actually minus 1. Okay, the partial derivative of f with respect to minus z is minus 1. So the answer will be minus minus. Okay, I write for you, this is plus. So dp by dt is actually p. Now you are allowed to integrate. So what will be the next step? This is very easy, if and only integral, and you have to put the ratio dp over p is equal to integrating both sides dt. So integrating both sides, on the left hand side you will have natural log, okay, natural log of p, or you can write easily because this is very obvious step. So what will be the answer for p? P will have answer in general c e to power t. So the constant I have named c. So p of s comma t will have the and be very precise, because I had made mistake that I have not put it s comma t. So it is a possibility that you can be wrong, because x is in general, look, x has the form which includes t and s as well. So this is not the correct way. Please be careful with the calculation. I made a typing error, so correct that error. The answer for p is not c e to power t. This will be constant of integration will be c of s e to power t. Okay, because p is in general function of st, we have already written above. So the answer for p will be c e to power t, and c will not be a real number, this will be a constant function of s. Okay, now write the value for q. Similar, the answer will be similar. How similar? Look, how I know that, because I have already calculated dq by dt. What is the formula? If you can go back, you can say that fy plus qfz. Okay, look, here is the formula, fy plus qfz. This is fy plus qfz. Okay, and minus also. So fy again will be 0, because in f there is no x, there is no y. The derivative of f with respect to x and y also will be 0. So you can write here 0 multiplied by q, and again fz already calculated is minus 1, so the answer will be q. So this will be similarly solved, integrating both sides. dq by, now will be dq by d over q is equal to dt, and q will be equal to, not c, the constant I have named at the slides as d of s e to power t. So you have calculated indeed two constants. Okay, now what is the third step? Now just look back at equations which you have named 1, 2, 3. If you can put the values of p and q and can find out the solution, the answer is yes, because 1 includes p and 2 q and 2 includes p. So you put the value and find out the answer. So indeed the answer will be dx by dt. So okay, dx by dt is equal to q, and the answer is for q d e to power t. Okay, d e to power t. Okay, again integrating both sides, because exponential integral is exponential and there is no other unknown thing. So implies that integrating both sides, and you can write easily dx equal to integral, because since d of s does not depend upon t, you can write easily as this, e to power t dt. So the answer will be what? The answer will be dx by d of s e to power t will be e to power t, because integral is similar, plus some another constant which I have named because I want to name the same constants, otherwise in the slides there will be different constants. So the answer for, yes, I have named it as d1. Okay, d1 constant of integration of s. Okay, similarly for y you can write the same thing but for c. Okay, I am writing similarly because dy by dt was not q, it was p, and p has the value c of st, not d of st. And similarly you will calculate the integral. Instead of c you will have this, and you can say d1, not d1, it is d2. So I have named the other constant as c1. Okay, not d2, it's c1, I'm sorry. I have named that constant c1. And you have to be but I was thinking similarly with the c and similarly with the d, so I have named d1 and c1 the new constants. So you have actually calculated x of s comma t, okay, and you have calculated also what, x of s comma t, and you have calculated, sorry, not dx, it's dy, y of s comma t. Both have been calculated. P is also calculated, q is also calculated. Similarly you can put the values of p and q in the ordinary differential equation of z. So this was the ordinary differential equation of z. I write from equation 3, so you can write this again. This has been calculated in the slides, pq or 2pq. So the answer will be 2pq. It means that p is c of s, so you will write c of s, d of s, e to power t, bases are same, so the powers will be add up, so answer will be 2t. Now integrating both sides, in the next step the answer for z will be what? It's very easy, st will be equal to 2 times c of s, d of s, e to power 2t, the integral is e to power 2t, but you have to divide by the derivative of power, so this 2 will be cancelled out, and the answer will be this plus some another constant which I have named as what, so okay, I have not named here the constant, but okay, you can name if you want another constant d2, okay, if it is not named earlier. It will be 0 eventually, you will see that d2 is 0, but I have already written there, okay, I have not calculated, I have shortly written in the slides. Okay, so everything has been calculated. Just apply the conditions which you already know. So you know the condition for x. So you know the condition for x. How can you calculate? What is x of s comma 0? On the left hand side you have, you know that. You know what is the answer of x of s comma 0. The answer is s. For y of s comma 0 the answer is minus s, and for z of s comma 0 the answer is so I write for you also again in the solution. Here comes the solution in the okay. Now you know x of s comma 0, this is s, and y of s comma 0 is minus s, and z of s comma 0 is 1. So x of s comma 0 is s, and on the right hand side you will have what, d e to power 0 is 1, so the answer will be d of s plus d1 of s. Okay, what will be the answer for so this is the equation which will be used to calculate d1 and d. So what will be the answer for y? For y you can put the conditions, y of s comma 0 is actually minus s but becomes what, c of s plus c1 of s, c of s plus c1 of s. Okay, for PQ you don't know the conditions. Okay, so for PQ you don't know the conditions, that is why you cannot calculate the conditions for or the constants for X and Y. Now importantly, one important aspect is that you have to calculate the condition for P and Q. So now f of s is s, be very careful on the slides. G of s is minus s. Capital G you now know because I have told you earlier, capital G is 1. So what will be the first equation? F of conditions has to be 0. So this is the actually what was capital F? Capital F was this. Okay, capital F was this. Okay, so what will be the answer? So I am calculating now conditions for P of s comma 0 and Q of s comma 0. This has name Q of s and this has name H of s. Okay, very nice. So now put there the F condition, and F of conditions what will be what? F of conditions, I am not going to, okay, this is there, you can take that. F of conditions is 0. So how you can implement this on your question? So F of conditions is what? Is 0, implies that in your problem, implies that PQ conditions has name H of s, K of s minus Z. Z condition is G, capital G of s is 0. But G of s has value 1. So in the next step you can write, H of s, K of s. So in the next step you can write H of s, K of s is G of s, which is 1. So this has been written there. Okay, you now know that H and K you don't know, but H and K will be inverse of each other, multiplicative. The second condition was, look back at the original form, second condition was G prime. So I am writing for you, second condition was this. So this is condition 1 if you want to be precise. Okay, second condition was this, implement this. If you apply the condition G prime will be 0 because G is 1. Since G is 1, G prime will be 0. H of s you know, no you don't know. H of s, F prime, F is s, so F prime will be 1 plus K of s. G dash, G is minus 1, so G dash will be, G is minus s, so G dash will be minus 1. So indeed you can write, collectively after the calculation, H of s minus K of s is indeed equal to 0. So this gives you the condition that H of s is equal to K of s. Very nice. And this was obtained from condition 2. Very, very good. So if H and K are equal from the condition 1, which is this, you can say that H square is 1 or K square is 1. Okay, so using C1 and C2 we get we get that H square is 1 or K square is 1, because you can put the value of K as H or you can put the value of H as K. So the answer will be H square of S equal to 1. Or you can write also that H of S is actually plus minus 1. Because H and K are equal, so K is also equal to plus minus 1 using condition 2. Okay, using condition 2 you can write H and K are equal, so H can be plus minus 1. If H is 1, K will be 1. If H is minus 1, K will also be minus 1. Which one you should select? This is the important question. So thus we have two choices, either H is 1, K is 1, or H is minus 1, K is minus 1. So if you look at the Jacobian, this is your exercise. The Jacobian at both points is non-zero. If you put -1, the answer will be non-zero. If you put because what is the Jacobian? Jacobian is minus k minus h. Okay, Jacobian, if you calculate, the answer will be minus h minus k. Value of h is 1, value of h k will also be 1, the answer will be -2. Or if you put 1 1, the -1, the answer of Jacobian will be 2. In any case, this can never be 0. So you have two solutions and you have two choices. If you take h1 k1, so using hk1, the solution is this, and this is your exercise that you should calculate this solution, because for h1 and k1, okay, we have two choices. What are the choices? H of s is 1, k of s is 1 also, which means condition for p and q are both 1. So in that case, so this is case 1, okay. In that case, what can be done easily? So in that case, okay, in that case, h and k have conditions 0. So ODs for p and q can be easily solved. This was the solution for p. P was c of st, okay, and q was, okay, so and q was d of st. So I am taking these two equations with simultaneously so that you can see the solution. Sorry, no, I think I have to copy at once the one. So I am copying this, okay. If this is equal to, if you put the condition, so p of s comma 0 will be, answer is 1, but it becomes c of s because e to power 0 is 1. Similarly, if you put for q of st, if you remember, was d of s e to power t, sorry, and if you put the condition q of s comma 0, the answer is 1, but it becomes only d of s. So indeed d of s and c of s are 1. So what can be the answer for p, for x and y? For x, you remember, please go back, this was the condition. So d is 1 and c is also 1. Okay, so what can be z now? In z we are having, so what will be d1? D1, this implies that d1 is equal to s minus 1, and c1 is equal to, this implies that c1 is equal to minus s minus 1. So two quantities are calculated. In z you are having c, d and d2. If you put the value of c, this was 1, put the value of d, this was minus 1. So z of, in conditions you have to put z of s comma 0. The answer is 1 because that condition has name capital G, which is 1. But on the right hand side you have c1, d1, because c and d are conditions for p and q, which we have in case 1 equal to 1. So okay, you can take this in this case as like that. So the answer will be e to power 0, 1 and d2. So indeed, if you see that d2 has answer not 0, it is 1. So I think it is a mistake. D is 1, c is 1, e to power 0 is 1, so d2 is actually equal to 1. So what will be the solution? You have to just put the value. So indeed p is solved, q is solved, z is solved, x and y are also solved, and this was your solution, which is given here, that x of st is now becomes this, y is this, z is this. I think there is a mistake for Z. Maybe I put it not carefully the cost constant, so the answer is in that form. But no problem. Please see if there is a mistake or not, and you can tell me in the video lecture, which will take tomorrow or maybe in the next week. And these are the all problems. Okay, you can solve each of them. We can see again the OD for Z. So OD for Z were PFP and QFQ. So this is 2PQ. P has CET, Q has the value TET. So Z will be equal to PQ product. And integrating both sides, I think there should be some constant. Maybe I have made a mistake. So this part which says like that is done by eliminating x and y. So you have to eliminate x and y. This I can discuss with you in the video lecture. But after eliminating x and y, you see that z is indeed equal to this in terms of x, y. So this was the method of characteristics using initial value problem, and in that initial value problem we have solved one example completely and also studied how to found the conditions for P and Q as well. Thank you very much for listening, and these are the practice problems. I hope that you will try to solve all these problems, and if you have problem you can discuss with me later in the video lecture, which will be in the next week also, because I think this topic will be started in the current week but will conclude in the next week. Thank you very much for listening.